Are you ready to help your child with math homework but not have to crunch a single number? And are you excited that this will only take 5 minutes or less? Hi, my name is Danielle, and I'm a high school math teacher. I've been teaching math for over 18 years, and on this YouTube channel, I love to give out my best strategies to high school math students so they can learn math with ease. And of course, I love helping parents of those students as well. So if your child is in high school taking math, hit subscribe down below so you can get my best tips and strategies for them, or even pass this channel along so they can subscribe themselves. Okay, so let's get down to it. We want to make parenting a high school math student easier on you. I also have a free homework tracker you can use to help make this easy. Download it in the description below and I'll show you how to use it in this video. Usually there's a major disconnect between parents and students at the high school level with respect to what's taking place in the math classroom. Parents will come and express that they aren't sure on exactly how to keep their children on track and make sure that they are doing exactly what's needed in order to succeed in math. And there's a lot of debate about how to go about this at the high school level since these students are entering a point in their lives where they're seeking a lot of independence and they don't want to feel like someone is just over their shoulder all the time and instructing them on what to do 24/7. Plus, as parents, we want to give them a sense of independence and that they are resilient and resourceful and can do these things on their own. So, over the years, I've seen parents operate from both ends of the spectrum. Parents will try to micromanage or helicopter parent over their children's progress in math or homework in math. And most times, students will disengage just because of the age they're at. Then we'll have parents try to take a step back and let their child take the reins. And as much as there's value in that in a math classroom, if the child is going to fall behind, there isn't much time to recover in a semestered system. So it doesn't work well or benefit the child either. So we want to be somewhere in the middle. And so this is where my homework glance over for parents in 5 minutes or less becomes useful. And the best part is no math is needed. It puts you right smack in the middle of the math parenting spectrum so you can give just the right amount of guidance and support without overwhelming your child. And here's the thing, the goal, the end game is for us to provide that initial support almost in abundance. So that way the child can see exactly what's expected of them. But then we want to scale back so they can do this on their own and regain our trust that they can handle this completely independently from us. Okay, so let's dive in. The first thing I want to address is that at the high school level, it is going to be rare in a semestered system that your child will come home with no math homework. And even if they do have no math homework for that day, should they have finished in class, let's say, then that evening should be used for them to start to prepare for the next evaluation. The semester system goes so quickly that they don't have a lot of time for studying for every quiz or test that's happening week in and week out. Usually there's a quiz one week, a test the following week. So do not be fooled. Do not buy into their little high school fibs that they don't have math homework each night. Usually you should expect an hour a night for math homework. Now, the first thing you're going to want to check in with is the actual homework that's being assigned by the teacher. At the high school level, all us high school math teachers communicate daily, if not weekly or monthly, on the unit that we are entering and what homework is expected on the regular day-to-day basis. And usually your child will receive a unit outline of some sort. I'll show you mine and a few others that you might see out there. Okay, so if I take you over here into my virtual classroom, you'll see I have a content section and I have all the units here. If I click on unit 5, let's say, for example, you can scroll down and there's a unit outline. Some teachers will have it as a document like I do, and others will just post daily in their virtual classroom what the homework is. So if I expand this out, you'll be able to see that the unit is clearly outlined in terms of what day we're on, what topic we're covering, and the assigned work found usually in the textbook, or there could be a worksheet given. So you can have your child bring this home or ask them to print it out if it's online, and you can follow alongside your child and what has been assigned that day for homework. So the next part is actually checking to see if they completed the work. And we want to make this as quick as possible for you and your child. Before even glancing at the math part of their homework, we want to see if they're setting themselves up for studying success. So we want to check to see if they are organized. They're keeping their binder in a neat, tidy fashion. So most students will have the lesson and then the homework follow right behind it. Other students will like to keep their homework in a coiled notebook. Whichever way your child chooses is totally fine, but you want them to title whatever it is that they're working on. So, for example, if we were starting day one, it would be the title of Trigonomic Ratios 5.1, and they could even say day one to be extra clear. And they would copy out the questions that they are to complete. So, page 280, number one, dot, 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 dot. This is going to help them keep organized, and it's going to be very useful for when they study if they are studying properly for their math test. Okay, so now what we need to do is cross-reference this outline to their actual homework to see if what they did for homework actually lines up. Let's take a look at a few of my current students and the homework that they did for section 5.1. Okay, so this is an example of homework from one of my students. You can see clearly the title and the questions outlined that they had to do. And you can even see that they have fully attempted the questions, showing all work. If you continue to scroll down, they aren't just writing the question down and popping the answer as their final statement without any work going on in between the beginning and the end of the question. So what do I want to highlight here? A few things. This student in particular has shown their work, has completed all questions. I can quickly cross-reference up at the top 1, 3, 4, 5I on the next page, 6 to 12. And again, you can look at their textbook as well to see, because sometimes a question like 6, for example, will have parts A, B, C, D to it. So you want to make sure that all of 6 is complete. 8, 9, 10, and 12. Can you see it down there? Let's zoom out a little bit. 12 is down here. And then we have 14 and 15 on the next page. And I remember this homework vividly because a few students, were asking me about questions 14 and 15. They were getting confused on it. And so a student who is not getting the question in their homework should be starring it or highlighting it so they know it's a question to come back and study. Here's another example of a student in my class completing the same homework. And again, they're check marking, they're making little notes if anything went wrong. They are correcting if it did go wrong. They're seeking the right answer so they can study for it when test time comes. When I do homework checks in my own classroom, if the students are not submitting, I'm just walking around and glancing quickly to see if all questions and numbers have been attempted. I don't even care about if the answer is right. I just want to see a fully attempted question. So I'm quickly glancing at each student for maybe a few seconds and scanning and giving them a completion mark. And just be super, super careful that your child is not copying the answer at the back of the book only. You want to really make sure that they're processing and writing down their process of solving each question. So if you want to go the extra mile with your child, I have a free homework tracker that you can download and use to help keep track of your child as they're trying to build up to do their math homework daily and consistently. I will leave a link for it down in the show notes below, and maybe you can have some fun with it. I like to place little mini bets with my students in class to incentivize them to do their homework on a regular basis. and it really gets them engaged into doing their math homework. Let me show you the tracker to see if it's something you'd like. Okay, so here's the homework tracker, and because I wanted it to be super easy for you to use, it's a Google Swipe sheet, and you will just make a copy of it once it's delivered to your inbox. And here, what you can do is set a goal for your child. If your child is really struggling, go easy at the beginning so that way they're not overwhelmed with a big, audacious goal. Start with something simple like we're going to do for the first 3 days, 10 questions of math homework every day. They may not complete the whole assigned homework, but at least they're getting their groove going and they're hopefully getting motivated to want to do more. Then maybe the second goal will be I'm going to complete half the homework for the next 3 days. And then maybe goal 3 here is completing all homework consistently daily for a week. Okay. And this is where you can make bets with your kids and put a little wager to it. So, how to use the tracker? Super easy. You can pull it up on your phone, and each unit has 14 days attached to it. So, just like you saw in my unit outline, I think that one had 9 days. Typically, every unit would have maximum 12, 13 days. You can insert another row here if you need to, but it's highly unlikely that it'll pass 14 days. So, for each day's homework, you can either click yes or no, depending on if your child completed the homework according to the expectation you set out. And by the end of the unit, you're hoping that there's a big 0 here because you are tallying, or the tracker is tallying how many no's there are. We want to give our students or your children the feeling of success when they get 0 down here. Okay, and hopefully you can celebrate with them if they do achieve that goal. And that's it. Have some fun with it. Count their small wins, even if you're grasping for straws, because at the end of the day, they just want to hear our praise. And if your child is looking to level up their math mark, I have a fun quiz that taps into their innate strengths on how to do well in math, and it comes with a free workshop on how to power up their math marks. I'll link that down in the show notes below. I hope to see you in the next video.